You guys at HSC are world-class. It's so incredible what you guys have done with it, and you ran with it, and you guys killed it. My name is Paul Louis Luibel. I'm the third nephew of the 6. He was very fun. He was a smart guy.
Well, they were innovators, right? So, it's interesting, 50-some years later, we talk about entrepreneurship and innovation here on the campus of HSC. And we just have to go back a little over 50 years ago for great examples of who were innovators at HSC and TCOM.
I had a lot of experience with him and his patients. He was very devoted to his church, and the same kind of devotion moved over to osteopathy. He was definitely a great apostle for osteopathy. He told me about Dr. Still. And he's telling me this in the 70s. He goes, Paul, we're prescribing too much pharmacy.
My name is Judy Beyer. I am Dr. D.D. Beyer's daughter-in-law. He was very much a family man. He was very much involved in all of the committees. He was on the board of directors of the Fort Worth Osteopathic Hospital, which is what it was called back in the beginning. He was very much committed to osteopathic medicine. Osteopathic physicians were not accepted into the medical corps as physicians during World War I and World War II. What they didn't realize, though, particularly during World War II, by all the MDs leaving the DOs here to take care of all of the patients, sick people, this was actually the biggest boon that the osteopathic profession ever had. After the war in the 50s and 60s, the osteopathic profession grew tremendously.
When you look at the 1970s, right, there weren't as many osteopathic schools, obviously, as we have now. They looked to their training. They looked to their own profession. They saw that Fort Worth needed primary care physicians, someone that other people in this community could go to. And with the rich history of osteopathic medicine and primary care, they did the right thing.
The other big milestone that I would remember before even the buildings went up was him appearing at the Texas state legislature to plead for the funds. And these guys had to be really organized. They looked at the legislature, where all 3 of those guys were on the same page. They said, listen, we got a severe primary physician shortage in North Texas. What are we gonna do about it?
I think there's still a lot more that we can share with the world with regards to osteopathic medicine, but I think we're off to a great start. You're looking at things that Andrew Taylor still talked about, right? Emphasis on the whole person, holistic care. And a great example of that is what we're doing here on campus with whole health.
The biggest thing in our life that you may have not know about, but Dad had a lot of setbacks in his life. When I was in the 4th grade, my mother was killed in a car wreck, and he remarried, had another great marriage. And then when I was in college, she died of a heart attack. I guess a key word too to mention about him is just the word perseverance, because you would have never known all he was going through, I think, from his professional life. He had an incredible work ethic. I think that's what I learned most, because he was always working for something. He had several nursing homes that he co-developed. And every time I was home, several times a day, we'd walk through those. And all the patients seemed to know him and like him, and he was passionate about it. Everything I saw, he was just extremely dedicated to the profession, and he was very passionate about it. And he loved what he did. I think he'd be amazed, blown away with everything that's happened, impressed, humbled. He would be really proud that he had part of starting something that did so extremely well.
Camp Bowie wasn't built out the way it is now. There was a bowling alley that probably was built in the 40s. George walked me into. There was nobody in the bowling alley, and he's walking around. We hear the wood creak a little bit, and then he opened a couple of cabinets, and you could see the formaldehyde suspended human, fingers and hearts and stuff like this. And I kind of looked up at him. He goes, "Paul, we're going to build a medical school here."
They brought osteopathic medicine to Fort Worth. And now we're continuing to bring that to our community. And others across this country are doing the same thing. Ultimately, we're delivering a model of care that has been successful.
Well, over time, of course, I realized it was his passion and how much he would be extremely proud of what small part he had to do with it, and how close he was with people like Dr. Luibel, probably his best friend. And looking back on it, I could see why he was so proud of everything that happened.
I think he would be utterly amazed at the growth of school. It has turned into a major educational facility, which I don't think he ever really dreamed of. That I think he would just be really amazed at.
George loved his patients in a way that's spiritual. He thought that osteopathy was the best way for their care. He was devoted to Dr. Still's teaching, and George was one of the smartest guys you'd ever meet. I was around those guys. I knew those guys. I knew how talented they were as physicians. Didn't come close to how much love they had in their heart for everybody. And George, Carl, and Danny would, for the love of patients and the love of osteopathic practice and the love of their colleagues, all three of those elements is what our family, my brothers and sisters, would want to pass on to these physicians and care providers and scientists here.
And we could talk about the quality of our students, the quality of our faculty, the fact that what they began here turned into a health science center with 6 schools right now. But I hope what they would say is that we stay true to their initial vision. The words may have changed a little bit. We're here to serve the public. We have a social responsibility, and right now in this country, it's to change our healthcare system.